My name is Tina Sipp, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. I became a Christian actually when I was 12 years old. We had gone to church at a base chapel. My dad was in the military. But it wasn't until I was 12 that in a small Baptist church that the pastor made it very clear that a decision needed to be made to actually follow Jesus and to surrender your life to Jesus. And so it was a very sincere commitment when I was 12 I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to do the good thing. And so I made that commitment during a church service. And I really think God honored that 12-year-old's sincere decision at that time. And probably in my 20s, things started to, I started making really dumb decisions. And then I understood grace. And I think it was really in my 20s that I experienced the beauty of grace, because I was so desperate for it. And here I had all this Christian training and Christian upbringing, Christian models and mentors in my life, and still would choose something other than the Lord's way. And so to receive grace, that really propelled my faith for many years. And then probably in my 30s, I would say there was another line. I was watching everyone get married and always going home alone, and I found that was the thing that pushed me to the end, kind of the cliff. I was either going to follow him or I wasn't. He was either good or he wasn't, and I should just pack my bags and go my own way. But if he was good, and I could believe that he was really good, then there was no reason for me not to give him everything. And really since that time, just again like a kind of a rebirth maybe, or a recommitment, and a very significant point in time. And at that time in my life too, the Lord was calling me into full-time Christian ministry with college students in a campus ministry. And I'm pretty certain I learned more from those students. You hope that you plant and you deposit something good in their lives, but I think they deposited at least as much, if not more, in my life about how to live out your faith. And this was at a large secular university, and these kids were so committed, and there was no gray. It was black and white for them, and I was so impressed by the level of commitment and discipline in their Christian walk. And so God used that to grow me, and it was during that time one of my students in the ministry introduced me to the African Children's Choir, and took me to my first concert. And having not ever babysat or really been drawn to children that much, it was quite surprising to me that I just got so mesmerized by the children on that stage that night. And I was like, I have to know them. That was the phrase I kept saying. I have to know those kids. I have to know those kids. And over the course of the next 15 years, I was in college ministry. I saw them a couple more times, and when that chapter was closing, I saw them the third time. And it was choir 19. And I walked out of that concert going, I'm going to be an auntie. I am going to be an auntie. And I got on the phone the next day, and it was a year and a half later that I was actually out on the road for the first time with choir 24. The reason I mentioned choir 19 is that I've now been with the choir for 19 years, and I have now worked with some of those children who have come back as chaperones on some of the choirs that I've helped manage. And so now, those very children, the night that I was called into the ministry, have been my coworkers, the full circle. And now, here I am on this ambassador tour with one of the children that was in my first choir when I was out on the road, choir 24. And it's nice to be in my 60s looking back and seeing how all the pieces have been used to bring me to the love, the pure love for him now. It's not a youth group faith. It's not my parents' faith. It's not the in thing. It's not part of my church culture. It's a heart thing that I want to love and protect his name. I want to make his name glorious. And so that's why I love Jesus. He has worked so many things in my heart because I'm a rascal. And